every person, I think, and entity needs a mission statement, a definite focus for your life, perhaps. And ours is to make a new mineral discovery in the Western U.S. That's sort of a tall order, but the three things I'll tell you about before I get into the myriad of projects that we've staked in the last 3 years, chasing a very, I think, special idea, is that we've done it before, and we've got these amazing tailwinds. Of course, the metal prices, the change in emphasis on minerals and new discovery in a lot of countries, but notably we're working in the United States. And our capital position is very special. And it's a result of 30 years of work and thinking. And this is going to be the dynamic year for us. We believe are going to be doing first pass drill testing with our in-house drilling on a range of projects. So that's a quick summary. I will be making forward-looking statements, so beware, and I'll promise not to make too many backward-looking ones because I have a tendency to do that. Look, we're looking for the biggest prize there is. My expertise is in low sulfidation epithermal systems, but we've looked at the entire magmatic hydrothermal environment, that is to say porphyries. I'll tell you more about what we're doing with that. I mentioned 3 discoveries. I did, I think the acronym largely stands for piled higher and deeper, but I did one of those on the geology of Mexico, and over 25 years we changed the geologic map down there with ultimately understanding some very unique geologic circumstances. Mineral deposits are singularities in time and space. If you've heard me speak before, I like to say that, but it's really true. They're very special circumstances. The Andes has lived for over 100 million years, but there's 1% of that time frame that you want to be looking at. And once you understand what's causing a mineral deposit to form and when, you can be very specific about how you look. But the key is mineral exploration is really risky, and the riskiest stage of it is the first pass discovery. That's what we like to focus on. We're not looking for working around existing deposits. Those are great places to go and do, as you've just heard, but we like to look at the starting end, to go out where there's nothing and make that discovery. And so if risk is a factor of odds and capital, the exploration first pass drilling stage is perhaps the most risky. So we've, over the years, found a way to reduce that by drilling ourselves in-house. And we've got 6 diamond drills. They're all in the United States, and we can drill regularly, routinely, with alacrity down to 1 kilometer. That's kind of a quick summary. We haven't done a financing since 2018, but we have $20 million in working capital. We've had about half of that in physical bullion, and so we had the unusual circumstance of the last few months of that kind of oddly growing. And 61 million shares out, so that means our market cap is about 30 million Canadian. As I mentioned, we're in the Western U.S. Just a quick summary. I've only got 6 minutes left, but it's more of as you note, a bit of a philosophical talk. We've been doing this work for a long time, and I'll tell you what we're focused on here shortly. But that's a little insight. We do our own geophysics. We do our own geology. We're a completely, fully integrated exploration team. We have our own ground magnetics and IP geophysics. So we do 3-dimensional geophysical work, and then we come in with what we call the truth machine, and we have 6 of those things. They're quite light, dynamic. We can move them around, low environmental footprint, but we can drill in Q2 core to well over 1 kilometer should we wish. We're focused on porphyry lithocaps because porphyries are one of the biggest classes of deposits for concentration of metals. Most of the world's copper, molybdenum, and gold come from these things. Epithermal deposits are formed in a number of different environments, but they can be associated with porphyries as well. And what we think has happened is the science over the last 30 years has exploded, and there are, as I say, belts of these rocks that we believe are fully under-recognized in the continental United States and underappreciated. In other parts of the world, the last 20 years, there's been drilling of these deep porphyry lithocaps. Both these pictures are mines, nothing to do with us, but examples in the world that are now mined out or in the process of being mined. And The top one is what a porphyry lithocap is. It's a pile of clay. These porphyries come up, these granites, if you will, and they exhaust a huge amount of fluid, which changes the rock, alters it to a pile of clay, call it. And we can now interpret which of these piles of clay are associated with the porphyry and which aren't. And we have a very continental scale tectonic model about where to go in the first instance, but then we map them out, and what's I think different about us is we're willing to go and drill them. And the bottom is an example of one that's exposed at surface with the porphyry sticking out of the ground. And the thesis is that's going to be very, very hard to do, particularly in the continental United States. So we're looking at a new belt of a different age where they're highly preserved and we believe under-recognized. So we spent the last 3 years staking and acquiring this portfolio of properties. We feel really good about what we've acquired, but it's all early stage. So what we've spent since staking them, and we're in the process of acquiring them, that's one of our ongoing catalysts, if you will, is doing all the field work to get it to the drill stage. And that's why I think this year is going to be a pretty interesting one for us, because we anticipate with one of our rigs just continuously drilling. We've got 6 rigs, and one of the ancillary things I'll just mention is that we have in the past done pretty well with third-party drill contracts, because when we don't usually operate drilling on 6 different properties. That's a pretty big deal. So we lease them out, and we've done well with complementing our exploration capital outflow. This is what we put the drill on just before Christmas. We're working near, this is southwestern Arizona. The Safford district is owned by Freeport, as is Morenci. I think Safford now has 5 billion tons of oxide ore and 50-year mine life. So we're in elephant country, but we're looking at a different belt of porphyries. We have a specific age and a specific geochemistry we're focused on, and a tectonic environment. And what we found sticking out of the ground, available for us to stake 3 years ago, is a large porphyry lithocap. We've got all that exhaust clay, and we found these veins with our detailed mapping. The little machine I showed in a previous slide, it's not expensive, it's a $50,000 instrument, but allows you to map out with great detail qualitatively the minerals, which gives you a vector. So we found this broad area of clay alteration, and using our in-house IP over a 600-meter diameter zone of veining that tells us that there's a porphyry underneath. This is a shallowly in place porphyry, which is different than some of the layered mine ones, the big ones in Arizona. We think it's going to be gold rich, and we think it's different. We don't know how deep it is, whether it's faulted off, whether it's too low grade. Those are all the risks you take. But what we're going to do is go and drill this anomaly, and we've just started doing that before Christmas. I'll run you through some of the other properties to give you a flavor. This is a porphyry system in Nevada. We've optioned it to our sister company, and we anticipate them drilling this year. We've found extensive porphyryte alteration and porphyry B veining outcropping. It was mined historically for turquoise. It was something we were able to pick up. Porphyryte's an important mineral. To give you an insight into some of our project level exploration, it can be formed through cooling of deeper fluids, and indeed in El Salvador, which again is mined out, it was a cap right above the copper mineralization there. So we have definitely a porphyry, and we'll do first pass drilling on this. As far as aware, there's no modern exploration on this project. A couple of other porphyry lithocaps in Nevada. We've got one where we got up to 8 grams, 7-8 grams at surface. Big IP underneath, classic porphyryte, quartz alunite, gold alteration zone. And we've got something, those of you who know me will perhaps know that I discovered a silver-gold epithermal vein system in Mexico that is in the ether, and you can ask me about that in my history. And I've never been excited about as much about a silver prospect as this one. We've got a Ruby Hill where we're getting up to a kilo off surface. We've just staked this last year, and we anticipate doing first pass drilling in a multiple shear zone vein epithermal system. Got one in Arizona here, New Mexico, where we're getting up to 3 grams at surface, quartz alunite alteration. And just the final thing I'll say about our valuation is we have a lot in our portfolio, a whole portfolio of royalties. And this project, you can see 2.5 million tons indicated, 17 million tons almost. We've got about quite a zinc silver resource that we have in the Yukon. We're focused on exploration, but there's tremendous value in the company that's under-recognized. I will tell you, I have got a new calendar. If you notice, put the wrong year. But it's going to be a really great and exciting year for us. So thanks for listening.